Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
So much joy and laughter.
From my friend who's a Giants fan, and I thought that he was going to hate it, but he laughed the whole time.
Well, the orchestra was phenomenal.
His daughter is really, really talented. His niece, all his brothers.
They're unbelievable.
Go Chip Snapper! That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Your 401k goes up and down. That's fine when you're 40, but not when you're 60. Find out how to protect your hard-earned money. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The threats we face, we'll talk about the Israeli strikes in Lebanon. We'll talk about what happened over the weekend, all of those developments, what's happening in the courts with an accused assassin who allegedly tried to take out Trump. And then Trump is here in Pennsylvania today. We'll talk about all of that. But I want to begin locally this morning as we think about what happened. Have you heard what happened over the weekend in Philadelphia with this craziness, insanity, and the videos have gone viral?
What happened while it was gone?
I know. Dan, you take vacation with your beautiful wife, Maisie.
Yeah.
And whoa, the whole city erupts into madness.
Yeah, cops are being assaulted, and there's donuts and fires and flamethrowers. What the heck is going on here, Dawn?
Did they rent out Mike Opelka's flamethrower? Was that it?
I don't know. Or is it homemade? They use a can of Axe and a lighter,
It's nuttiness. So I know that Philadelphia police, on a serious note, we have at least one officer treated in the hospital who's recovering in the hospital, but as many as 5 police officers who were injured. And it's really the case when you think about what happened over the weekend with this lawlessness, even to go around City Hall like this. It was across the city, as many as 11 incidents, according to Philadelphia police. And I know you'll get to the audio of one of the deputy commissioners. But the bottom line here is the damage and the quality of life issue that in and around, on a Sunday, on a weekend, headed into, we're back to school, all of this lawlessness, the quality of life for people who have to live and work in the city of Philadelphia, but even outside City Hall. I mean, the images of these people doing circles around this like ring of fire, smashing in police cars. These police cars are taken out of service because they have to be repaired. So I don't have a monetary estimate on this. Maybe the police will update us. Has Mayor Sherelle Parker, has she been speaking out? I haven't seen a news conference yet, Dan.
I have not seen Sherelle directly, but I do have a message that was delivered via Francis Healy, a deputy commissioner, who had a message from Sherelle to these individuals who are out there on the streets doing this, if you want to hear that, Dawn.
Yes.
I was asked to come here specifically by Mayor Parker and on behalf of Commissioner Bethel to send a message. The message is this: this behavior will not be tolerated. We firmly believe that the actions last night were in retaliation of the police department's aggressive actions that we've been taking since the Mayor Parker's administration began. So we've been attacking this problem rather heavily every weekend with a large number of officers, and we believe last night was some type of retaliation of sorts. But the message is this, and the message is to the people that are involved in the actions as well as our communities, that this will not be tolerated. The information that we received last night, for those that were involved in it, should be very well aware. We have your picture. We're coming for you. If you think you got away last night, you didn't. Okay, so when you hear that banging on the door, it will be us. We're coming with search warrants and we're coming with arrest warrants. So don't think we're going to lay down and allow this to happen in our city. We're not. And that's a message to the police officers out there as well that are on the line dealing with this nonsense. They also need to know that we're not putting up with this. So that's the message. I just want to make sure it's very clear from the mayor that this is unacceptable in the city and we will not tolerate it.
So the issue is the police, we've known this, have been cracking down on the illegal street racing, reckless driving, and we've had some dangerous incidents. Remember, there was the one on I-95 that the family is suing. There was a young man who, in his very expensive sports vehicle, but he was from Delaware County. So some of these I know were suburban people. I don't have a sense of whether or not some of these individuals are from other collar counties. Are they all Philadelphia residents? But in all, we know that one officer was hospitalized, 5 police vehicles sustained a lot of damage. I mean, you saw fires created. This was nuts. This was insanity. And we know that dozens of officers have been assigned in special task force units to address these pop-ups, whatever you want to call it, illegal gatherings.
Have some info on that if you want to hear that.
Yes.
We are playing whack-a-mole a lot of times with these. And like I said, when we get there, they leave because they don't care. They don't care about your safety, their own safety. If you've all seen the videos with their behavior, they really don't care. It's just about how much chaos can we cause, and that's what they do. And they have a lot of them have a large social media presence, right? And they're making money off of that. So that's a whole nother issue. So, it is a problem. We have been fairly successful. The city ordinance has been great for us. It's been a great tool. A few weeks ago, we had a few car meets where, once again, up in the Northeast, where the officers did a really good job, stopped a lot of them, were able to issue code violation notices under the city ordinance, and lo and behold, a lot of them from Jersey. And the lieutenant in charge that night did a good job of calling a lot of their moms because they were underage in their parents' cars. So hopefully that dissuades some of them coming back as well.
Yeah, so the bottom line on this, because somebody in Kale and Company earlier this morning had suggested that there was an ethnicity issue, like a racial issue. I don't really get a sense of that because these were all over the city. Like I say, they reported at least 11 incidents, hundreds involved. I do see the people speaking out are African American individuals, white individuals. Like race, I don't think is the issue. I think it's age. I think the one issue they brought up is that there are no grandmas in the group or grandpas. Am I wrong here, Dan? Do you see any grandparents in the group? I think these are young people.
No, and I actually have audio of a Fox 29 report. It's a guy that I don't know if I endorse this, but he does the, biking the correct way, if there is a correct way to do it, and is essentially saying, he's calling out that, there are crews that go around that, support loved ones in the bike community that they've lost, and they do those long parades and such, but this kind of stuff just gives them all a bad name. This is what he had to say.
Willie Singletary condemning the behavior overnight.
Real bikers who love this sport
This is our passion. We're totally against that. If you want to do burnouts, go to Maple Grove, go to Cecil County. They got racetracks. If you want to do all that kind of stuff, go to the track. Don't do it on our city. This is where we live. This is where we stay.
Yeah, so you think about this, it's nuts. And, 15th and Market, 100 cars. Island and Bartram Ave, 200 cars. That was a drag racing situation. And so in that one, police vehicles were damaged. The crowd finally did disperse. On the 3300 block of Fox Street, that's the one where a 39th district officer suffered injuries while responding to assist another officer, and somebody just rammed into his vehicle, struck him, and then that's a hit and run. See, to me, that kind of a thing where you've rammed into a police car, that's a felony.
Yeah.
Automatic, boom.
Like what's the point other than to injure a police officer?
Exactly.
You're going with the goal of doing some kind of injury there. It should be at least assault, on an officer, right? And that's a felony, is it not?
I think so.
Like, come on. Like, it's ridiculous. So my question, Dawn, with all of this is, Sherelle Parker, since she's gotten into office, she's kind of had a honeymoon phase, and she's definitely cracked down on them, and you hear this whole idea of retaliation. Where do you think crime stands here in Philadelphia? You're a longtime Philadelphian yourself, and you know all the situation that's unfolded under Kenny, and now we have Sherelle Parker, who is doing harder policing. You think it's working? Could she be doing better? What's your report card so far, Dawn?
I would say, first and foremost, this is only certain neighborhoods and certain select areas. So it's no secret, my husband and I have lived in the Chestnut Hill section of Philadelphia for many decades. And by the way, that's where a lot of, if you think about the northwest part of the city, quite frankly, that's where a lot of city officials and the Comcast people, that's where a lot of people live.
Yeah.
So I don't feel it. Even during the pandemic, even when, yes, some shops and whatnot were boarded up, there are certain segments of the city that feel this worse. And we have to say that because the truth is there are certain segments of the city where you have a loss of quality of life, and that's not fair. And I think that's what Sherelle Parker had keyed in on as she was running for mayor. She understands that because she's a longtime Philadelphian, and she gets it as a mom and as a resident.
Yep.
And I think that's important to say. So part of me, because I love Philadelphia, I haven't moved out of the city. So part of me feels like I can't stand when people in the suburbs will say, even to my kids, there's some of their suburban friends will say, oh, you live in Chestnut Hill. Like, they're like, yeah, it's the fall harvest day or whatever. And they're like, oh, you're in Philly. I'm not going to go. I'm like, really?
Oh, come on.
Really? To the Badlands of Chestnut Hill? Give me a freaking break.
Oh.
So that bothers me, that there's this image that the entire city is under siege. No, that's not the truth. And that's the tragic piece of this, that only certain neighborhoods where a lot of people who've lived for generations, and grandmas and grandpas and parents and kids, they deserve what everybody has in the city. These are only pockets of neighbor. It's a tiny percentage. And there's only a tiny percentage of criminals who Krasner, and I think he's gotten better because he has Sherelle.
Yeah, he has no choice.
As the mayor, Sherelle Parker. So I think it's getting better. As far as homicides, if you follow the official numbers, we are way down. By some projections, it's like, thank God. The murder rate, the homicide rate officially, and I know there's that other category, and we've talked to Sergeant Mark Fuzzetti about that, but if you look at the official books, the homicide rate is down something like 47-48%. However, other quality of life crimes, carjackings, the break-ins, those are up, and I will submit to you that because we're still way down in police, more than 1,000 police officers we still have to hire, a lot of times, if you have a smash and grab or you're burglarized, you're lucky that if you're going to get a cop to come up and write a report.
It's true. So I would counter, though, and the thing I'm concerned, like, you say people coming into the city, they have this idea that it's dark and dreary and, it's not the same Philadelphia that they knew before, but when I look at Rittenhouse Square, when I look at the Center City District, the tourism district that is indeed supposed to be that safe center, that's where you see these dirt bikers. That's where you see there was the shooting at the pin. It's there's all this stuff happening around Love Park that I do think tourists should be made aware of. But I think you're right that it needs to be specified that there are certain parts of the city that are still indeed very fun to visit. Right?
Yeah, I mean, by and large, when have you heard with all the tourism we have? How many times have you actually heard of somebody who's here, they're visiting?
Once.
Right? It's a big city.
I can vividly remember the one time it was the wedding guest that had his watch stolen right at.
Yes.
It was like 4th.
Remember that?
Yeah, but that's really
That's about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, compare us, and I'll say this. Think about how many New Yorkers you know. I know so many people who've left New York City. They've moved here. Because why? We have housing. Look around. Look at the buildings that are going up. Look in the communities. I mean, when I drive home and I drive down Lincoln Drive, it's amazing. There's construction everywhere across the city. And so we actually have housing. And a lot of the housing here, believe it or not, is more affordable than if you live in the Allentown area.
Mm-hmm.
So that is having people move from other areas like New York, where they seem to have the Venezuelan gang issue of those individuals. I'm speaking specifically let out of prisons, reportedly going to places like New York, didn't come here. We don't have that issue.
No, it's crazy too. And the New Yorkers, the influx of New Yorkers, you have such housing prices, like you're mentioning in Kensington, that align with the construction tax rebates that you get. It's very accessible for people to live here, especially compared to New York prices. And what's left unsaid a lot of times is that launch of that Acela train over at 30th Street Station.
True.
You hop on there, it's an hour, 10 minutes now.
Nice.
To take a train from Philadelphia to New York City. So that's why so many people are moving down here for that.
Yeah, I mean, when we had Friday night football, not this past Friday, but the week before, and even the kids were told about, Northeast High School, and there was a shooting there last year, and they've had fights. And so just walk away. If anybody comes up to you or what have you, just walk away. We went through the security. Everybody was, prepared. But it's life in the big city, quite frankly, number one. But number two, it was an awesome experience. And afterwards, I hope I told you the story, but David, my son David, afterwards, he said, wow, they were the nicest kids. And I hope we play them again. They were great. And he said, if they've had fights or they've had problems, it wasn't them. It was the other schools, because these kids were great kids. And I'm like, he felt badly that they got kind of a bad rap, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's just it. We're all people. We want to live. We want to thrive. We want to be able to afford the groceries and the power bill and all of that. And so that's why I still think that when you look at a city like Philadelphia, you look at now the unions not energized for Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, I don't think as much as they were for Joe Biden, who they knew. And then you look at the community here of city residents, I don't see the energized voting base that we saw in past elections. That's for the Democrat top of the ticket. 855-839-1210.
You think they just soured? I'm sorry to cut you before going to break, but you think they soured because of Kenny and Krasner, that they're just, or because of Parker, or
not because of Parker?
No,
I don't. I think people like her. To me, I think she is doing everything she needs to do. Although, with the Chinatown opposition on the cultural basis, we'll see how that goes. But other than that, I think most city residents are pleased with her performance so far. I don't think it's her. I think it's the economy, and I think it's the fact that people knew Joe Biden here. Mm-hmm. People here came out for him. But will they come out for his vice president? I don't know that they will. I don't feel it. If you feel it or don't, 855-839-1210, the number to call. We have so much to talk about today. And producer Dan, Lieutenant Dan, is back, so we're so thankful. We'll hear all about it. Get your thoughts right back.
Pending approved credit. Offers cannot be combined. Excludes taxes and tags. Take an e-car, buyers. This time of year, Jack Dell and the team at Dell Toyota know it's all about penetration. Good, sustained market penetration. Are you ready for some savings? score with end-of-model year savings at Del Toyota. No need to fight for every inch at other dealers. Del Toyota always sees a hole and gets right up in there with the Del Vehicle Exchange Program. Right now, get out of your old car or truck and into a new vehicle and keep your payments the same or maybe even make them less. No holds, no illegal touching, just clean blocking from bad deals. Buy with no money down and 0% financing every day at Del Toyota. Don't get caught from behind. Keep running to Del Toyota for end-of-model year savings. Del Toyota is close, only 8 minutes west of Exton on Route 30 in Thorndale. Online at deltoyota.com. If you're worried you're going to pay too much for your next car, you don't know Jack. Say habla español.
Jack, sell it for less. Join us to conquer childhood cancer on Sunday, September 29th for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia's Parkway Run and Walk, presented by Citadel Credit Union. All funds raised support CHOP's Cancer Center. Learn more and register today at parkway.chop.edu.
An American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard helps you tackle that to-do list. Get up to 3% cash back at home improvement stores, groceries, and pharmacies. And when the chores are done, treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation, earning 2% cash back on travel, hotels, and ride shares, and 1% on everything else you buy, including home decor. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/credit-cards. Subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it, it's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Better water leads to a better everyday experience. With treated water from Martin Water Conditioning, you can experience silky smooth skin, refreshed hair after a morning shower. Your clothes and towels feel softer. They're no longer battered with minerals. Your coffee and teas taste better. Your appliances using water lasts longer. Even before you leave your home, your entire morning experience is improved with better household water. If you want to experience better water, call Martin Water Conditioning 800-887-7555 or go online at martinwater.com.
Got a roofing problem? Don't let it ruin your day.
Emmons Roofing and Siding offers professional roofing services, from repairs to complete lifetime warranted replacements.
And you can trust our experienced team to keep your home safe and secure. And we can even handle insurance claims for you.
Give us a call today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on the web at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtua Health.
Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I thank them for keeping me alive.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
And Virtua is one of the best centers in the country for minimally invasive orthopedic surgery.
I had the hip replacement of the future. I'm back, baby.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
By the way, under tight security, NBC 10 reporting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visiting a Pennsylvania ammo factory yesterday to thank the workers who are producing one of the most critically needed munitions for his country's fight to fend off Russian ground forces. So I didn't know if you had heard that. This is the Scranton area. It's the Scranton Army ammunition plant. And he was thanking Joe Biden because obviously Joe Biden, this is where he was born. Did you know that Joe Biden was born in Scranton?
Really?
Scranton. He always says that.
Was he?
But he said, thank you, and we need more. The Scranton plant is one of the few facilities in the nation that makes the 155 millimeter artillery shells that, have increased the production over the past year. So when Joe Biden
I have some audio from that if you want.
Oh, do you?
I want to thank all of the workers of the Scranton Army Ammunition Factory, almost 400 people strong, Mr. President. another 1,000 about a half an hour
So
from
leader of the
here.
factory speaking.
I think it's safe to say that, Mr. President, you've shown the world what courage and resiliency looks like.
Speaking to Zelensky.
Your profound
He's not talking to
sacrifice
Biden.
and
Yeah, when he's saying
Right?
Mr. President,
He's saying
so for the
Zelensky.
visual's sake, you got the head of the factory here standing right next to President Zelensky, and he keeps pointing to him every time he says president.
it looks like your profound sacrifice and those of the Ukrainian people have been nothing short of remarkable. And from all of us in this part of the world, we thank you for your courage and your resiliency. And I can tell you from General Dynamics, 100,000 people were behind you. We know your victory is the world's victory. And so without further remarks, I pass to you, the workers of Scranton, and President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Thank you so much.
Quite an accent
This applause is not to me, really. Everything is to you and for your work. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here with my team. And started, as I said to colleagues, started my visit to America from your city, from your plant, from Pennsylvania, and just some number. You said that 400 people work here, but I wanted very much to come here and to thank you. 400 people saved millions of Ukrainians because of the result of your work. I'm very thankful, just from ordinary Ukrainians to you. And what can I say? Thank you so much. You helped us to survive against Putin invasion. And thanks to your families, and God bless, everything will be very good with your families and with you. God bless America, and Slava Ukraini. Thank you again very much for everything, guys. Thank you.
I'm trying to look at the visual. I know Governor Josh Shapiro was there. Was that Senator Bob Casey behind him to his left? So sort of, I don't know if he spoke or not, but Bob Casey getting in the shot. But if you think about, didn't say too much. It's like, oh, he appeared.
He's like slightly in the shot, but
Slightly in the shot.
He made it.
But, Zelensky, this is a visit that he made here to Pennsylvania. It kicks off quite a busy week as he's visiting the states. He'll speak at the UN General Assembly yearly gathering in New York tomorrow and Wednesday, then travel to Washington for more talks this Thursday with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris as he's trying to still shore up more support for Ukraine. So we do in Pennsylvania here. I know that we have one of the biggest populations of Ukrainians in Pennsylvania, in the Philadelphia area. We have so many friends with families still there. And so, even though I think that Americans are tiring of, this situation, can't believe that it has dragged on, I wonder how this plays out, because on one hand, the Biden administration has said we have to support them. On the other hand, many blame this administration for allowing it to drag out. Trump has said that after being elected, before he's even sworn into office, Trump has promised he will force them to work out a deal and stop this war. That's what Trump has claimed, right, in his campaign promises.
So I got to ask, being a slight conspiracy theorist, do you think there's any truth to the claims that Biden wants the war because there's money to be made on it, both individually and for the nation? I mean, obviously the war machine, do they want it to continue to keep making money for our war machine? And two, is there any, all the, conversation about Hunter Biden and Burisma and all this, is there still ties to Ukraine and the Biden family?
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of that plays into the fact that this thing has dragged on. Biden has said that it does create jobs for people here in Pennsylvania. But yeah, you mentioned the war machine. And so think about that. Who would have ever predicted back in the day that Darth Vader himself and his daughter, the Cheneys, would come out and endorse one Vice President Kamala Harris and this administration, the Democrats? But they're associated with, think about it, they're associated with that so-called, military industrial complex. You think about Halliburton, all of that fallout. But it really goes back to if you believe in the fact that Trump is trying to break up the swamp and that neither side, Republicans or Democrats in our party, in our two-party system, if you believe that Trump doesn't owe either side anything and that he's somebody who does not support the military-industrial complex, and you think about that going back to the Eisenhowers, his warning way back in the day, and I played that for you. I don't know when. I should probably revive it again, but it's kind of, I don't know. It gives me chills, or it's kind of creepy to think about, a president back in the day on the cost of war, talking about the industrial war, military complex, to warn people about it. And now fast forward all this time and think about why so many people said never Nikki. Think about why people have rejected the Cheneys and Dick Cheney. And I've admitted to you, I voted for that ticket back in the day. I voted for Bush Cheney. But now looking back, how does that age? And is it as much of a turnoff as it is a benefit? That's my question here. How does that play out? Because we do have a huge Ukrainian population, but think about it. With Trump saying, hey, this is wrong, because what the media doesn't talk about is how many Ukrainian men have died fighting for that war. Trump has talked about that. And it's a horrible death toll. You never hear about it. You see Zelensky here, and he's thanking everybody. He talks about the sacrifice. What are the numbers? What does that look like? We hear about the casualties all the time reported by the media, the so-called mainstream media. All the time they want to talk about how many Palestinians have died, right? Never mention October 7th as if that somehow is in a vacuum and that doesn't relate to what's happening today. And right now, by the way, you look at the State Department's level 3, they're upping the warnings. I mean, this could be a disaster for this administration if all what breaks loose in the Middle East, by the way. So a lot of tension. Trump is saying, I think it plays well for Trump to say, I was the president of peace and prosperity. Pre-pandemic, when you look at that situation, he shut it down and he negotiated peace. Now, is it a tough negotiation? You betcha. So does he say to Russia and Ukraine, work out a deal? If Russia needs to take back the parts of Ukraine where the Russian, people who still speak Russian and they want to go back to the mother country, would it be a tough negotiation? Perhaps. But to end the bloody war, isn't it worth it? And to save those lives, that's something that Trump has said. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Just 2 years ago, Bob Casey told us his vote for $1 trillion spending spree would miraculously reduce inflation. Casey promised his vote will reduce inflation. Have you been to a grocery store lately? Did Casey reduce anything except his credibility? In fact, it was Bob Casey's vote for reckless spending that caused this inflation in the first place. Prices went up, and now you're paying more for almost everything. Casey admits he failed. Prices have skyrocketed. Just listen to Casey.
You have boneless chicken going up 38% and paper products like toilet paper going up 35%.
Groceries cost more. Rent and housing cost more. Pennsylvania families are struggling. Casey promised to fix this mess. Instead, he made it worse. Bob Casey failed. We need a change to get back on track. It's time to change Washington. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. It's time to call an audible. These high utility bills are getting out of hand. Make your home cozy with new windows.
Right now at Window Nation, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit on how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. Call Window Nation today to schedule your fast, free in-home estimate or visit windownation.com.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
It's September, back to fall, back to the daily grind, which means, of course, you're going from place to place. Is your vehicle ready to go place to place? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're going to help make sure you and your family are safe out on the roads. These service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers not only handle all your regular maintenance needs, but they're going to diagnose possible issues before they occur, before they can happen, before you hit the road. So just schedule that service appointment online today, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com for that dealer nearest you, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, PIA, ZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Taking you back to 1961.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
So think about how this relates.
May prosper together.
Think about how this relates. You know, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and that from the National Archives. Thank you, Dan, for pulling that. But you think about his farewell address, which took a lot of people off guard as he was warning about the military-industrial complex and that so-called, as you heard him say, misplaced power. Take nothing for granted. And how that plays, I mean, it was really prophetic when you think about it. All those years ago, 1961 to now. And he felt passionate about this clearly. And many still say to this day that it caught many off guard. But this is a man in his farewell address, speaking, general president, speaking out and warning Americans, not just in 1961. In my humble opinion, this address resonates more with us today than even the American public back in the day. It's important to think about, and I think it plays well. And I'm actually surprised the Trump team does not talk more about this, because when you think about the swamp and why they fear former President Donald J. Trump, why they fear him and why they don't want him, and even, think about how, the Never-Trumpers, how many of those Never-Trumpers did not want Trump in office the first time, certainly in 2020, and now maybe they're faking it, but deep down, they don't want him. Because who does he owe? None of them. When he says, I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to create transparency and I'm going to clean out the swamp, they all shiver and shake, in my opinion. He owes only us, we the people. That's it. And I think that, to me, that is so significant. And more, I hear people say, man, you got to look at this guy. How they've railed against him. They've thrown, you think about the persecution, prosecution. They've thrown every civil suit. every federal lawsuit, weaponized DOJ. He's been shot at in two different instances, but let us not forget what happened on July 12th. I bring that up because, yes, there have been two known, assassination attempts with, guys with rifles who somehow got close to him. One got a shot off, shot him in the air. But think about this, that what happened July 12th, and where is all the information about that guy who had the close ties with Iran, with Tehran, and was allowed to fly here and was allegedly, according to the feds, he was arrested on the 12th of July, right before the 13th, which was the attempt here in Butler, PA. By the way, Trump will be back in PA again today in two different sites. But I just think to myself, wow, have we ever seen anything in our history like this? And if even if you don't, I don't know, Dan, you've said that you're a conspiracy theorist sometimes. I think sometimes. Even what?
I said sometimes.
Sometimes. I never was, ever.
Yeah.
Like, I would laugh at all that stuff.
Would you?
Even now, I think all of our spidey senses are going crazy with this, because you have to look around and say, I mean, we've never seen anything like this.
There's still so many questions from the first one.
Yeah.
There's so many questions about this one at the golf course. And then we have and what's shocking to me is there doesn't seem to be a thirst, a demand for these answers. Like, what happened? Dawn, you are an expert in this. Investigative journalism, you would think, would be trying to investigate, try to figure out what the hell's going on here. Seems like the media just doesn't care about this. And, I was away when the second one happened with Healy, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll come back and things might be different. Nope, still the same crap.
No, and can you imagine if, God forbid, another person like the current vice president who's running for president, imagine, God forbid, that somebody got a shot off or got as close. Take either incident. It would still be in the headlines. The images would be on every magazine, right? They would still be talking about it. The way the media buries that, and not just initially. I mean, initially it was shameful, but as far as they just did not want to even say the words assassination attempt against Trump, but even now they just bury the story. They never want to talk about it. They never want to show the images. And their bias is exposed. But does the everyday person who's working and trying to deal with everything in life, do they notice that? I notice it. You notice it. But how does that impact the everyday viewer? And then you even think about that ABC News debate, which it just does not age well. And when I look at the fact checking that goes into that, as far as it was a horrible debate. I think, to me personally, David Muir and ABC News, they lost a lot of respect. And for their own colleague, Martha Raddatz, who by all accounts, if they can never fire Martha, ever. You know why? Because she should file a whatever discrimination lawsuit and say, you know what, I should have been in that debate. If you were going to have a woman who was there or somebody who's an expert, look at Martha. Over the weekend, you had reports from her in the Middle East. I mean, the woman is 80 pounds soaking wet. She's tiny. She is tiny, but she is feisty. You got to give it to her. I loved the fact after that horrific debate performance on the Sunday morning program, she was like, oh, yeah, because I think she was disrespected. I'm calling it out. Martha got disrespected.
She did.
They wanted a younger woman, a hotter woman, whatever you want to say, but somebody who nobody even knows who that is. And there's Martha, who has the bona fides, and she called it out. She was fact-checking it. And in particular, the one in which Vice President Kamala Harris said, oh, nobody's stationed around. And you had all these guys posting, which I hope they didn't get in trouble, but posting videos of those guys and gals currently serving overseas. And they're saying, oh, really? Well, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I guess we'll go home, calling them out. But Martha Raddatz, to her credit, she called them out and fact-checked them. So I think we have that going on. I think that the more this debate performance, and I know you can play for us the clip of Harris again trying to trigger the Trump campaign, and she's saying that she'll do another.
Join me on the debate stage. Let's have another debate. There's more to talk about, and the voters of America deserve to hear. the conversations that I think we should be having on substance, on issues, on policies. What's your plan? What's my plan? And we should have another one before Election Day.
We should have another one on Election Day. I mean, she is, what nerve when she, by the way, might come out with her new economic policy on fracking and energy this Wednesday.
Oh, yeah?
She's got a lot of nerve.
She has an economic policy on fracking?
I guess. It's a new one. It's the new and improved.
Yeah, sure.
It's the new and improved, my friends.
Jacked directly from the pages of Trump's campaign playbook.
What a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but the people deserve to hear. Well, if they deserve to hear it, who needs a debate? Why don't you go on with it? Why don't you then, Vice President Harris, why don't you go on all the networks? Why do you need Trump? Why don't you have a sit down with Harris, Faulkner, and all the go on a tour. Go on with everybody at the network at Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS.
No, let's go on Oprah.
And the thing with Oprah, even Oprah, I mean, Oprah could not tee it up for her better, right? I mean, she just teed it up time after time. And I think even in Oprah's mind, she was probably like, dang, this woman, I'm just throwing the ball right up there. All she has to do is knock it over the net. Couldn't do it. That, even privately, I want to read the thought bubble in Oprah's head as to what she really thought, because it was embarrassing.
What would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected Attorney General for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations.
Really?
For the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border.
I can't take it. There's 3 more minutes of this, Graham.
We're not going to torture you. But for her to say this, the audacity and inauthenticity of this woman, and that's just it. When she sang this, everybody knows that clip with Lester Holt when he said, but you haven't been to the border. And then she says, well, I haven't been to Europe. And she does that weird laugh, that awkward laugh, because she's getting called out. Yeah. Everybody knows that clip by heart, and it's a devastating clip.
Talk to you about it, but let me just quickly put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
Lester, God forbid he asked, it was a quick follow-up, you haven't been to the border. And that's what she fears, those moments. That's why she's not doing the tour, right? We'll talk about all of it. Thanks for being here today. 855-839-1210. Hope will be up in the 11 o'clock hour. I do have a couple of developing stories I want to get to. Be right back.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon 7 to 10 p.m. starting Monday, October 7th.
Honestly, I do mean this. What an incredible honor to join this lineup, because the thing you guys do that matters to me, you guys know your listeners. You hang out with them, you meet them, you do events. That to me is amazing. That's why I got into radio. Is you want to be a part of the community. I'm always on tour doing live events. I want to be part of the community, which is a fancy way of me saying I got to get out of New York a lot because I owe a lot of people money. But the point is, I'll be there.
Jimmy Fallon, weeknights 7 to 10 p.m. starting October 7th on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
You might wonder, John Legend, how do you keep your voice sounding so legendary? Honey. And how do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? with a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC.
The fresher, the better.
Ask your healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Due at inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Better water leads to a better everyday experience. With treated water from Martin Water Conditioning, you can experience silky smooth skin, refreshed hair after a morning shower. Your clothes and towels feel softer. They're no longer battered with minerals. Your coffee and teas taste better. Your appliances using water lasts longer. Even before you leave your home, your entire morning experience is improved with better household water. If you want to experience better water, call Martin Water Conditioning 800-887-7555 or go online at martinwater.com.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
We are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations.
Yeah, that's Kamala Harris. As if she's new to Earth, coming to Earth. Americans have ambitions. I'm expecting her to say something about being unburdened or something. It's one of her bizarre statements that she made, and that's why I think just let her go on a speaking tour. She should just open herself up and go to all. Why does she need Trump if she says, well, we should have another debate? Because, of course, she's being disingenuous. And she knows it's too late for a debate anyway. And didn't Trump initially, when they were agreeing to debates, they were supposed to get on the docket other debates that they were planning for, but it was her campaign that refused to do that. Now all of a sudden they say, oh yeah, we want it October 23rd. I'd love it if you called her on her bluff, but it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money so late in the game. Let's talk about Janet Jackson, which that was a little song by Janet, was it not?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, a newer one, 2015, Dreammaker. Not a great song, I gotta say.
So what is going on with Janet Jackson? She is. I now, so it's back and forth. So, so how did this all start? She was interviewed at one point, and she was asked while she's on tour, promotions, she was asked, and she said something to the effect of that she thought Kamala Harris's dad was a white man.
Yeah, she was questioning the racial background of Kamala Harris and buying into the whole, all the theories about her having a white father when it's been proven that she has a Jamaican father and all. So then she came out with this apology, Dawn, and it's a very odd situation. Because the person who came out with an apology is apparently, according to Janet Jackson, not the actual person who should be speaking out for her, because he was recently fired. And after she said essentially that these were not authorized, these comments, the Mo El Masri says, it's he no longer works for her. He's fired by Janet and Randy. Attempts to improve her image in front of public opinion and her fans. And this is all something I do not deserve. He offers all of his support, his personal support, to Vice President Harris. So apparently he was trying to do some of his own bidding after already being fired and trying to repair Janet Jackson's image. Janet Jackson comes out and says, hell no, I don't believe what that guy just said. I stand by my initial statement. So there's a whole back and forth, and she's still getting lambasted online. And the sad thing is this all comes after the passing of Tito, and who died within the past couple of week or two. And she's in a very tough emotional state. And she was pressed on this question, had that answer, and it seems it was her truthful response. But now, on top of her brother dying, she's got to deal with all this, negative press. It's a sad situation.
Yeah, it is. But I also think it's significant that the statement that was released by this guy wasn't so bad. That it was like a statement where she said something about she'd like to clarify her recent comments. Yeah.
It's Janet Jackson would like to clarify her recent comments. She recognizes that her statements regarding Vice President Kamala Harris's racial identity were based on misinformation. Janet respects Harris's dual heritage as both black and Indian and apologizes for any confusion caused. She values the diversity Harris represents and understands the importance of celebrating that in today's society. Janet remains committed to promoting unity and understanding.
So she's saying, I didn't say that and got irked by that. What does that tell you? That she's saying, I didn't say that. That's not my statement. You're sticking with your original thing because the question was something to the right was about whether she'd be the first female black president or her ethnicity. So basically, she's saying, I never apologized and I said what I said.
And good on Variety for following up, because Variety it seems that BuzzFeed was the first to report with the initial apology based on a email or release from this Mo El Masri guy. But Variety went through the channels to contact actual family members and found out that was indeed a false statement.
So what does that mean? That means that she's sticking with her original statement and that she doesn't want to be clarified, and she said what she said. So you can call her Miss Jackson. Nasty girl. She's feisty and obviously she's grieving, right, with her brother's death. But I'm just saying, I don't, she claimed that Kamala Harris is not really black, and she's not backing off of that. And to me, I'm kind of fascinated by that because the statement by her former person, it wasn't that bad. It was like, hey, she wants to clarify and she believes in unity. And she's like, no, I'm saying what I'm saying. Don't you clarify me. She's just feisty. But she's not backing down. And she's not going to apologize. I don't know.
And I pose a question. Is Janet Jackson, where does this mentality come from? And is this a shared mentality with a large minority vote here? Where do black Americans stand on Kamala Harris? Is Janet Jackson saying something that's a common thought, or is it she's an outlandish thought? I have no idea, but I wonder.
I think that's a great question. 855-839-1210. I think that, truthfully, I think this is an issue of especially white woke suburban women, especially. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't. And Janet Jackson's like, no, I'm not in that crowd. So don't put me in with that crowd. I'm Janet Jackson. I don't have to apologize. And I am African American and proud. And so don't put your white woke junk on me. I really think that's what I take away from it. Because she's feisty, and look, she's grieving. It's her big brother. It's sad. So we'll continue. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. We'll keep hope alive with our one and only Hope Danoff. Be right back.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to them, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special, along with Dr. Alfie and Katie Neal, as we engage in this very meaningful conversation. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
This Wednesday night at 7, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Former President Donald J. Trump in Pennsylvania today. J.D. Vance in Pennsylvania over the weekend. And Ryan Ruth, the man accused in the second assassination attempt in a court today in Florida. We'll let you know what happens with that as he's facing a series of arraignments. Those are federal charges. As far as former President Donald J. Trump gaining ground, leading the Veep, Vice President Kamala Harris, in some key states. This is a New York Times Siena poll from today. Trump gaining in Arizona, now leading Harris by 5 points in Arizona, with the two candidates polling at 50% and 45% among likely voters, respectively, according to this one latest poll. It's just a snapshot, just a glimpse that I give you. And at the same time, Trump also held onto his lead over Harris in Georgia by 4 points, North Carolina in play by 2 points. We've also talked about the polls tightening, too close to call, between Senate candidate Dave McCormick, who's running on the Republican side, and challenging longtime incumbent Bob Casey Jr. So that brings us to our friend Hope Danoff. I was just wearing your T-shirt that you gave me. I was wearing it over the weekend, Hope, because, you really do bring hope and joy in so many ways, I think, to Pennsylvania Republicans. Hi, Hope. Good morning.
Oh, good morning to you. Thank you so much for all your support. We are booming out here, Dawn.
Nice.
We just flagged in Kensington, and you cannot believe the support that we got out there. So it's incredible. There's something in the air. Yes. I can send you pictures, but the incredible support. We flag wave every other week in Welsh on the Boulevard, and we're going to be moving around with Trump Force 47 all throughout Philadelphia. But it was so surprising, and I was talking to friends of mine about there's something in the air, Dawn. We're going to win this election. There's something in the air that's so different in Kensington, the support for Donald Trump.
Well,
it's incredible.
And part of that is you think about Kensington, because so many residents, where we've just had the cleanup under the current, Parker administration, but so many residents have felt forgotten. And what is it is it just the economy? Is it security? Is it safety? What do you think the issue is in places? Because your movement, Republicans with Hope, is something that started out, I remember first talking to you about it. I mean, this is your grassroots type movement. What do you think you're connecting with, or Trump is connecting with, people across the area?
I think it's having people of color going into the community that live there that's starting to get the message out. It really starts with education and a lot of enthusiasm. To really say, I was on this podcast, The Black and White Perspective, we talked about that, about don't drink the Kool-Aid. They're telling them, what are you doing? Is your life any better than the last 3.5 years? And they're starting to wake up. Wait a second. They were saying to them, get off the plantation. That's what these African-American flag wavers, they were talking to everyone. They were saying, stop drinking it. Don't do it. We can we can send you a different way, look a different way. So they're starting to wake up by seeing people from Trump Force 47 going into their communities. In all fairness, in a long time, there weren't any Republicans going into the community. And then you have Democrats go in. I saw somebody that sent me this fantastic TikTok tape that said, don't drink her Kool-Aid. Don't vote for her. She comes into your community, makes a barbecue for you, asks you for your vote, and leaves and does nothing for you. Look a different way. I'm going to vote for Donald J. Trump. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing a whole wave of a diverse community, and that's what I'm interested in building as well.
Now, for you, when you say flag waving, what are you talking about when you're saying, just because I know that people can sign up to get your newsletter and some of your alerts, and it's really easy, but what are you talking about as far as volunteers can go with you and waving flags and that sort of thing?
Yes, well, they can always contact me. Go to my website, republicanswithhope.com, and contact me at republicanswithhope@gmail.com. What it really is that I'm building bridges with other people as well. With Trump Force 47 in Philadelphia, where we flag wave with them. with also some fantastic gal that spoke at the Trump rally that's become a dear friend of mine, with also the Black Conservative Federation that we're going to be doing these two events. She has a wonderful organization called Cooking for Autism. And so we're working with her as well. With Americans for Prosperity also. I spoke at a luncheon and I just invited her to speak. So it's really they call me the connector for a reason.
Hey, Hope, just a second. I apologize. There's a technical problem. You sound like maybe you're at the local aquarium and you're the diver underwater talking to us about, sea life or something. It's like, we get that bubbly sound. So it's just a little technical effect. But we're continuing the conversation with Hope Danoff. Hey, I think we got you now. Thanks, Dan. I think we can hear you better. We want to hear what you're saying. It's important.
Well, I was just saying the key to winning, and I'm just getting started, Dawn. That's what I tell everybody. Hey, after Donald Trump wins, and McCormick's going to win as well, after they win, just getting started, I plan to turn, Lower Merion, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania red, and then I plan to take it across the country. In the most positive way, I mean business. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of seeing where my country is headed. It's not headed into what I grew up in. And I'm not going to let it happen, not on my watch. You said I'm named Hope for a reason. So the big key in this whole thing, Dawn, is to build a coalition, build a diverse coalition. Like I mentioned, working with all these groups, because I won't be silenced anymore. For too long, we let the Democrats, and you mentioned the wokes, and they're very aggressive. You can't have a voice unless it's their voice. I'm tired of it. It's not going to happen anymore.
Well, and I hear more and more people, especially women, moms, dads, grandparents, saying that they're sick and tired of, because I think it was at first, it was like, okay, people, it's a pandemic and we all got to get through this. And there was this level of tolerance. Like, I don't want to deal with those crazy, I just don't want to deal with it. But at this point, I think to your point, Hope, I think people have had it and are saying nicely, politely, no, I'm not having this. Not in my kid's school. Don't push your mask on me. Don't push your mandates on me. We've all been through it. We know now, and we certainly wish we knew then what we know now, the old saying. But I do think people are pushing back and just saying it's not going to happen again, and it's too much. It's overload. So when you talk to people, because you're so positive, you're nice, you're not being pushy at all, are people coming to you? How are you meeting people? How can people find out where they can help you in your volunteer grassroots effort?
Well, the greatest thing is coming to republicanswithhope.com and join, like you said, our positive, diverse community. And the other thing about it is that we're booming, and we're booming for a reason. I use every opportunity to talk to everyone, whether it's the person coming to fix my boiler or if I'm returning something at a store. I met this lovely, beautiful Cambodian young man that came here legally, and he was so open to the Republican message. 99.9% of people, they won't tell you, but when you speak to them, they're like, you know what, tell me more, tell me more. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody with a pushback, but then what I do is I say, thank you. Then if you have the Donald Trump, what is it called, deranged syndrome, then let's talk about Dave McCormick. They'll go, okay, let's talk about him. People are, they're, believe it or not, it's not just me, it's really this movement. It's nothing about me. It's about joining together to take our country back. Dawn, it really comes down to saving our country. So you ask me, what do? I use every opportunity to be kind to people, to say, can we have a conversation? Are you open-minded? If they are, I have the conversation. 99.9, like I mentioned prior, are open to it. There's something in the air. We're going to win this election.
Well, this week, it's a big week. I know Trump is in Pennsylvania, not this area, but Western PA today, 2 different spots. J.D. Vance was in the suburbs over the weekend. But there are many guests coming through and different speakers coming through this week, as I think it's official. I mean, we're now, in the heat of this, 44 days till the election. So tell me about some of the events that this week that you're involved with.
Well, tonight I'm going to a wonderful town hall with your 5th Congressional District candidate, Alfie Goodwin. She's an ex-police officer, and she's also a special ed teacher. The town hall will be a parent's guide to providing support for children with emotional and learning disabilities in the classroom. So that's tonight. Then I'm going to be doing, on Wednesday, there'll be a lunch with Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Dave McCormick that I can also, tell you more about that after that event. That's a private event, but I'm thrilled to share that with your viewers afterwards. Then we're going to have the MCRC, which is the Montgomery County Republican Committee. They're having Michael Watley speak as your keynote speaker. Anyone can go and sign up there at the MCRC website. That's very exciting. So that's happening this night too, along with I'm a committee person in my area that we're going to have events there where we're going to get everyone, all the polls, fully, with people at every poll. And we're having a big meeting on how we're going to start moving, Lower Merion to the red zone. Because like I said, that we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stand up, be proud, conservative, and Republican people. We're going to save our country. That's just this week. That's just this week.
It's a whirlwind.
And then Saturday, I should tell you, I guess that's part of this week. Saturday, I have this fantastic event with Cooking with Autism, which the candidates meet and greet. They're all your African-American candidates.
Wonderful.
Tim DeFore, your Auditor General, Alfie Goodwin, Aaron Bashir, David Winkler, and Ed Moy. These are all your African-American candidates because we want to show people that we love everyone out there and we want to build a diverse community. And then also Women for Trump event. We have that at someone's home. Go to my website, Republicans with Hope. We're going to have the beautiful Stacey Garrity, your state treasurer. And these two are free because I'm trying to make all my events, most of them free, so that everyone can come.
What do you think? What are the top issues, the top, 1 or 2 issues that seem to, no matter where you go, that you hear people talking about hope?
I think that in the inner city, they're fed up with illegal immigrants and inflation. They can't feed their families. I mean, you're not going to believe this. I went to buy 2 turkey thighs yesterday. They were almost $20 for 2 of those. I used to pay half of that 3 weeks ago. They're not going to put up with this anymore. They're starting to think, I cannot feed my family. I cannot feed my gas tank. I cannot pay for oil to heat my homes. I can't take it anymore. I'm voting Democrat, and they're not doing anything for me. So I think that's number one. And number 2 is they're seeing these illegal immigrants that are coming into their community, getting gift cards, getting pulled to the front of the line for Section 8 housing, just getting all these freebies. And they're sitting there with, nothing. And nobody's helping them. Their communities are, crime-ridden. So they're just tired of it. So I think those 2 issues are paramount. And that's why they're looking a different way to the Republican Party. They're saying, like, you know what? I was better off with Donald Trump. It was better here. What's going on? I was able to feed my family. I can't do it anymore. And that's where the sea change is happening. Like I mentioned, this is just the beginning. You're going to see a big sea change across the country. It's happening. Trust me, it's happening.
Things are happening. It's getting exciting. Well, Hope, I look forward to seeing you and talking over the week, but I think it's a pivotal week in this election, locally, statewide, nationally. So Hope Danoff, Republicans with Hope, thank you so much for being here today and throughout the week, because we'll keep checking in with you, Hope.
Thank you so much, Dawn. It's a pleasure. You're the best.
Pleasure's all mine. Feelings Mutual, 855-839-1210, if you want to sound off as well. Just wanted to note to you that I just saw this came across the Associated Press, that Pennsylvania's highest court had said it will consider, here we go again, whether counties must accept provisional ballots cast on Election Day at polling places by voters whose mail-in ballots lack those secrecy envelopes or were rejected for other flaws. So here we go. I thought this was an old story when I saw it cross the AP, the Associated Press, but this is yet again, we're seeing this same issue come up again. So this is PA's highest court taking on the issue, and this will determine the fate of thousands of votes that would otherwise, not be counted because they're not legal. They're not fully lawful. I believe, as I look at this, It has to do with those so-called naked ballots, in part because the envelope on the outside was not properly filled out, but this affects the November 5th election. So Pennsylvania, obviously, we're considered one of the, if not the most important battleground state, but our Commonwealth Supreme Court taking up the appeal from a Commonwealth Court decision. Oh, yeah, here we go again. We'll have to have Linda Kearns to get her take on this. But this, we reported to you, I mean, my gosh, I feel like every couple of days there's a new suit, a new legal, filing. But in this one now, we'll continue to follow it and what the ramifications are for this case as it goes through the system with the Supreme Court. Here, when I say Supreme Court, Pennsylvania Supreme Court. 855-839-1210. We'll take your calls on the other side and other developing stories. Just a quick break here.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale and Company. Doubleheader alert. There's 2 NFL games tonight, and you have another chance for a big win on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. You can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet on tonight's game. Let's start with the Jaguars at the Bills. By the way, you can hear that game exclusively here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT at 7:15. How about this same game parlay? Josh Allen on the over rushing yards, Joe Burrow on the over passing yards, James Cook for an anytime touchdown, and Austin Eckler on the over for receiving yards. Or you can do the Commanders at the Bengals. Whatever you want, it's all there on FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this season. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you looking for a place to call home? Say hello to hassle-free home loans with American Heritage Credit Union. Our team will guide you through every step from pre-approval to closing. And with the MyCU Home Connection program through American Heritage, you can unlock exclusive benefits, including a $500 lender credit, cash rewards, and discount when you buy or sell a home. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/homeconnection to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Not a member? Join today. NMLS 433838.
Roofing or siding issues? Don't wait. Call Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We provide comprehensive roofing and siding services with a focus on quality and customer satisfaction. And our warranties ensure peace of mind for you and your family.
Protect your home with the best warranties available in the industry.
Call Emmons at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 5,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Hill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
I love it. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. You know, a New York woman is suing the Mets for $2 million after being barred from wearing her Trump MAGA hat at Citi Field. We have that story that we told you about earlier on this morning on Kale and Company. We discussed it, and she says, hey, part of her suit is that she's an African-American woman, and she says that they targeted her because she's not just a woman, but an African-American woman, because when she got inside, she says other white people were wearing their MAGA hats. Nobody stopped them.
Oh.
Now, the Mets have come out, and they have said, somebody called her, they apologized, and said that is not our policy. We're dealing with the one worker who told you that.
Oh, it's a rogue.
It's a rogue.
Sure.
But she's saying, she's not buying it. She's saying her civil rights, her First Amendment rights were violated. Was speaking out about it. We heard that earlier. But what about locally? Because I hear from people all the time, especially women, saying, you know what, I'll just get canceled out at my job or wherever. I'm afraid to even go to my kid's school event with, like my MAGA hat or a T-shirt, because what if they, I don't know, kind of snub my kid? It's a real thing. I mean, I've been dealing with it for years. And so I always say, come out of the closet. So I know that we had Mary actually had her own incident. Mary, what happened?
Yeah.
I call it the only, hi. I say that this is the only, discrimination that apparently is okay, and it does seem to strike women of all ethnicities, but especially women. What happened to you?
Yeah, so I'm in the supermarket, and I have a hot pink shirt on that has Women Love Trump, and it has a heart on it. Women for Trump, and it has a heart on it. And so I'm walking down, getting my groceries, and this older lady, had to be in, I'd say, mid-70s, comes up to me, got in my face, and she turns around and she says, I effing hate him. Right to my face. And I'm like, I'm looking at her, and I turn around and I said, well, I effing love him. And I said, let me tell you something, lady. It's only Democrats that think you have the right to come up and invade my space. Mm-hmm. We don't do that to you. If you were younger, I would have freaking laid you out for getting in my face.
You're a crumb creep, lush coward.
Like, yeah, that's bullshit. I don't take shit from anybody. I'm sorry for her.
We dumped it. We got it.
But, I mean, like, who the hell do you think you are? And then she's like, well, look at the economy, and
exactly.
he raised this. And I said, you need to get off of ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, and watch some real news. Try Newsmax. Try Fox News. Mm-hmm. Like, look at the other side. You're in the wrong era.
Amen.
I'm thinking that it's Trump's fault for, paying quadruple for meats and eggs and everything else.
Yes, it's so true. Well, Mary, I'm so what?
You're a crumb creep, lush coward.
Oh, that was a mistake. Sorry about
Thank you for calling, Mary. Really appreciate you sharing your story. Yeah, you got to stand your ground. But she's right. I mean, what happened to? I bet you that lady has a hate has no home here. Well, the hate has no home because that lady took the hate on the road with her to the grocery store. That's why her hate wasn't home at that point.
Coexist bumper sticker on the back of her Prius. You know the type.
I know. It's so true. But it's, there is something to be said over women. I think it's something about women that they really get triggered by. And I think it's because they don't want to normalize, being, Republican, and God forbid, normalize Trump voters. I think that's part of it. And so the more women, moms, grandmoms that come out and you look normal because, you are normal. They don't want that. They want to say, oh, those creepy, desperate, crazy men. It's all them. It's not women, which I don't know. I think, will this election come down to women? But women are the ones, too, that, you're more likely to be at the grocery store. You're more likely to feel it with the crunch. And we talk about the single moms. I mean, that's what Hope has dealt with so much, just dealing with people from all walks of life. But just your thoughts on that one, if that has happened to you, 855-839-1210, the number to call. I guess Paul wanted to talk about Janet Jackson.
Yep.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Dawn. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, Matt. Where y'all got Dan running the bagel run?
Yeah, Dan's back from vacation. Thank God.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, good to know. Well, anyway, first a few things, Miss Dawn. Let me start with that. For one thing, let's start with this. Ain't nobody had more DJT syndrome than you guys having BHO syndrome, Barack Hussein Obama. So, and that being said, pardon me, I just got finished running my job. So with that, awesome, I'm out of win. So also, another thing, when your children that's what's up that your children got to the Olympics tryouts, did you see all those other minority kids of brown? Were they there for DEI or was it on their own merit?
No, they were, and that's just it. That's why I'm a proponent of that. I would say the majority of kids in the Junior Olympics, more girls than boys, and more generations of. It's really empowering as a female for me to go. I'm going there as a mom to support my son. But to your point, I love meeting and seeing every year after year the grandmoms, sometimes great grandma and grandparents, but the women athletes by the generations. But what you're saying is these are, I would say, more African American girls, moms, grandmoms, great grandmoms, and the granddads and grandparents too. But I love seeing that, and that's just a piece of it. That when you have that level playing field, there you see it, and it's a mighty sight to take that in.
All right. Well, also, and I thank you for your time. Let me say that also. Also, with your current caller, she sat there and said about the plantation. Oh, first, before I begin with that, you do know on the books, I don't know if your history books told you guys this, because this will revert back to the Janet Jackson thing. I'm losing my train of thought. But first, I want to say, let me hurry up and get this out the way. The Janet Jackson thing on the books is 1/8 drop of blood. That automatically makes you an African American. These are on the United States books on slavery. Your caller also talked about the plantation. Well, see, when a slave owner had a house slave, of course he would tell the house slave, convince the field slave, don't leave me, don't leave, please tell him to stay. And with Trump, he's the only thing he had, and she sit there and say, Kamala come in with a barbecue, and she leave out. Well, all Trump does, he throw paper towels at Puerto Ricans, and he tells black people, what the hell do you have to lose? So I'd rather somebody come and give me a cookout than somebody tell me what the hell I got to lose.
Well, I'm with you. I want the free cookout too. I mean, I think, exactly. But I think Trump is probably more likely to eat the good because he loves good food. But Paul, I thank you for the call. I do. I thank you for it.
Thank you and your call. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul. Be blessed today. I will say this. I believe that when Hope was, she was quoting because she was on a podcast where they were specifically with some African-American hosts who were saying that the question was, are black people stuck on the so-called Democrat plantation? I believe that Hope was quoting the individual because they invited a diversity of people from all these different backgrounds to have that discussion. So I think to my knowledge, she was quoting one of the platform questions that was on a podcast that she recently had gone on. So I think that's why she was referencing that. And that's a legitimate, topic that many people, Charlemagne the God, others have brought up to talk about that. As far as Democrats, have they made you feel like you should owe them, the what have you done for me lately type thing? So that is a topic right now, and it's a legit I think, topic. One more, if we can, is this Tom in Percy? Hey, Tom.
Hey, Dawn. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I went to see J.D. Vance on Saturday.
How was
What
it?
an inspiring individual.
Yeah?
What an inspiring individual. And the crowd was phenomenal. I mean, chants of JD, USA. And he was just so funny. He talked about his 4-year-old son, Vivek. He says he took him to the store, him and his other son, to the local grocery store, and said, you guys can get anything you want. Well, his older son, I guess, got a candy bar, and the younger son, Vivek, said, hey, Dad, we need to get eggs. And he goes, because, Dad, you just ate our last 3 eggs. But it was just so inspiring to see the enthusiasm of the crowd. And then they took questions from the media, which was they were terrible. They were making statements, then trying to get rile him up and respond and get him fired up. But he just handled himself so well. And one of the great things about it is I tried to get an autograph on one of my hats. I'm a Marine just like he was, and I was a corporal just like he was. Well, I was like 3 rows back from the stage, and during the slight pause, I got to yell out Semper Fi to him, and he said, Semper Fi, sir. Oh. And it's just awesome.
Great
just
moment.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for your service. And I just hear the joy. I mean, how much fun you had. And that's just it at these rallies. It just fires you up.
Yes, it does.
Well, Tom, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I know that he was in, I don't see much local coverage. I saw that WFMZ had covered it, but it was the Berks County Fairgrounds. And a pretty good crowd, a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie. So I think we're up against a tough break. But thanks, Tom, and thanks again for your service as a United States Marine. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
64 overnight and partly cloudy heading into Saturday. On Saturday, 81, partly cloudy again. Sunday, high 75, and clouds remain. A little cooler on Monday with a high of 72. Tuesday, we're barely going to hit 70 with probably some rain by Wednesday.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The following is a paid commercial announcement. Just 2 years ago, Bob Casey told us his vote for $1 trillion spending spree would miraculously reduce inflation. Casey promised his vote will reduce inflation. Have you been to a grocery store lately? Did Casey reduce anything except his credibility? In fact, it was Bob Casey's vote for reckless spending that caused this inflation in the first place. Prices went up, and now you're paying more for almost everything. Casey admits he failed. Prices have skyrocketed. Just listen to Casey.
You have boneless chicken going up 38%, and paper products like toilet paper going up 35%.
Groceries cost more. Rent and housing cost more. Pennsylvania families are struggling. Casey promised to fix this mess. Instead, he made it worse. Bob Casey failed. We need a change to get back on track. It's time to change Washington. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-It Inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
What are 2 things you do to stay healthy?
Well, I used to play golf a little bit. That gave me, so I don't know, but it seems to be quite a dangerous sport in retrospect. I try and eat properly. I do the best, and I try and get some. I do, but proper hamburgers. But I like perhaps all of the wrong food. But then I say, does anybody know what the right food is?
You're
I
right
had people
about that.
lecturing me for years. Oh, don't eat this, don't eat that. They're gone. They have passed away long ago.
Yeah, so former President Donald J. Trump being interviewed by Cheryl Atkinson. And we're learning more this morning by the alleged gunman accused of trying to assassinate Trump at his Florida golf course, because he was in court within the past 38 minutes this morning in Florida. And according to federal prosecutors, they revealed the first close-up photo of that firearm. It's the image that they've just released this moments ago, of the Soviet-designed SKS rifle that was found stashed there in Ryan Wesley Ruth's alleged sniper's nest, as they call it. This was at Trump's West Palm Beach golf course, September 15th. When you see this thing and you think about the plot, also federal prosecutors saying that this guy had 11 rounds loaded in his rifle here. And this was included in a detention memo. So, in other words, the feds releasing the fact that he, had letters written about this, was planning this, was dreaming of this. And the rifle, if you look at the photo, you can see that he had modified it with kind of a detachable magazine and then a modem stock scope, and that would make it more accurate to shoot at long range. Because that was one of my questions early on, was hearing that he had like an AR, and I'm like, at long range, that usually the two didn't seem to go together. Now it sort of makes sense when you see it, and you can tell that he's modified that scope, and so that makes more sense as to why he chose that firearm. He knew how to modify it. But 11 rounds. I mean, when you see this thing, this is a large rifle, and I don't know, the reality kind of sets in. This guy was plotting this, hiding out. Jeez Louise. More and more you think about this, it just, you can imagine. I can't imagine. And to think about Trump now, this is not number one. This is the second one with this guy. It just makes it real. That's all. To me, it's just really terrifying.
I think it makes it real, but it doesn't seem anyone's taking it
seriously. I know. That's just it. I mean, it's just. So he knew how to modify it. He knew how to make it so that scope. So he's buying different parts. He knows what he's doing. He's thinking it through. Now we hear about this letter. He's got these letters with all this crazy nonsense written in there. And for Trump, too. I mean, my God, talk about taking it all in stride. Well, I like to play golf to keep healthy, although maybe a little more dangerous than I thought. He kind of manages to joke about it. Nobody else would do that. My goodness. 855-839-1210.
You saw the DOJ release that letter written by Ralph. And in the letter, he writes, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all my gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job. I'll offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job," he wrote. Why the heck would they release that?
Well, they're not. So that's just it. It's the letter, and then the images of the firearm. It's all because, as a prosecutor, you have to make your argument in court as to why you do not want to let this guy free and why he needs to stay behind bars. Because you do have to, you also, if you are, as part of our system, even somebody who's basically caught red-handed trying to, assassinate somebody, they are, under our system, considered innocent until proven otherwise, and they have a right to self-defense. So the defense attorney has the right to every piece of evidence the prosecutors have. It goes into the court. And so that's why something like this, a letter like this, they absolutely have the right to see that and to defend their client. And so he also had not just the letter that, the letter and other letters at his residence several months prior, but a box holding all the ammo, a metal pipe, different building materials, tools, 4 phones, because, we all have 4 phones.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the heck? Other letters. So this is a situation where, the letter is now going viral as people read this. This was an assassination attempt, so he's confirming that. It's really terrifying, and the letter details what his plans were. So the prosecutors, they have to release all of this because the defense has a right to it. And that's why whenever you see these different proceedings, and there's another one in a week or so. So every time this guy goes to court, we will learn more because the defense attorneys are going to press for that. And so he addresses the world. This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And that's the part that you just read. I failed you. It is up to you now to finish the job. And then he says he doesn't have this money, but he's going to offer $150K to whomever can complete the job. Oh, my goodness. This is nutty stuff. But now you know why they had to give him the same or better protection than Biden. It's disturbing. It's so disturbing. And he had a list of all the Trump locations. And then he had a list of his search for how to get to Mexico beyond that. So he planned to escape. And I should update it. One report said 4 cell phones. The other one is 6 cell phones. So the agents found 12 pairs of gloves and at least 1 valid driver's license, different IDs.
Before we head to break,
yes.
I think what's also being left unreported is the rest of that letter. I'm just going to read real quick. It says, "Everyone across the globe, from the youngest to the oldest, know that Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a U.S. president. U.S. presidents must be, at a bare minimum, embody the moral fabric that is America and be kind, caring, and selfless and always stand for humanity. Trump fails to understand any of it." It kind of sounds exactly like the rhetoric coming from the left, does it not?
Well, that's just it. When you see it reported in the media, in the media, they say, oh, Trump continues to double down, blaming, campaign rhetoric for these attacks. But think about what you just read, as they call Trump dangerous to democracy, and we must not let him win. Well, what does that sound like in their rhetoric? Isn't their rhetoric the dangerous one? But in his self-published book, also told the country of Iran, specifically, you are free to assassinate, and then named the former president by name. Oh, my gosh. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. And why isn't this making bigger headlines right now? I ask you. We'll be right back.
It's that time of year again to consider replacing your old drafty windows and doors before another long, cold winter season rolls in. And my good friends at Guida Door and Window will help make your window and door replacement project more affordable with their buy one, get one half off sale. For every door and window you buy, you'll get the second one at 50% off. And you can mix and match these savings to suit your own needs. Buy an entry door, get half off a storm door. Buy a patio door, get 50% off a window. Need to replace all the windows and doors in your house? Then you'll save 50% on half your project. The more you need, the more you save. Plus, Guida is making it easier to afford your project with no money down and interest-free financing for up to 18 months. Act now. This offer is for a limited time only. Restrictions apply. For full details, call Guida today to schedule a free, no-obligation in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, Guida.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Better water leads to a better everyday experience. With treated water from Martin Water Conditioning, you can experience silky smooth skin, refreshed hair after a morning shower. Your clothes and towels feel softer. They're no longer battered with minerals. Your coffee and teas taste better. Your appliances using water lasts longer. Even before you leave your home, your entire morning experience is improved with better household water. If you want to experience better water, call Martin Water Conditioning, 800-887-7555, or go online at martinwater.com.
Inflation, recession, interest rates, the Fed. How do you make sense of it all? Join Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
As the leaves change, so can your ride. With the all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80, now available at Infiniti of Westchester. This month, elevate your drive with unmatched luxury, bold design, and performance that's built to conquer any season. The 2025 Infiniti QX80 is here, where style meets power and comfort knows no bounds. So visit us in-store or check us out online at infinityofwestchester.com and step into the future of driving today. Philly rides with us.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
Well, hopefully our Phils this evening clinch our NL East title. Didn't get her done in Milwaukee, did not get her done in New York. Hopefully it's tonight at home. Exciting, and hopefully the rain holds off. A little cooler today. But this, as if you're heading down to the stadium or the South Philadelphia Sports Complex, by the way, you will see Unite Here, Philadelphia Local 274 union representing the city's food service workers. Hundreds of them expected to be out there on strike with those big inflatable rats. no, it's not a new mascot. They're just putting out those inflatable rats. But these are cooks, servers, bartenders, dishwashers, concession workers, cleaners, retail workers employed by Aramark. And my take on part of this, because they're going to be striking outside, not just Citizens Bank Park, but Wells Fargo Center, Lincoln Financial Field. My take on this is that, and by the way, Aramark headquartered here in Philadelphia, obviously, so that's part of the reason they're focusing here. But I think it's that Mayor Sherrell Parker just had announced that big financial deal with hopes of the new stadium that'll be in Chinatown. That's controversial, but this is for the Sixers' new stadium. And so to me, I think this was the opportunity of the union to say, whoa, wait a minute, you're negotiating this new deal. We want to get our vig, as Zioli always says. That's my little take, because why now, essentially?
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
I mean, I don't mean to go this way, but isn't Aramark essentially monopolized the industry at this point? So, like, even if they build the new stadium, wouldn't they be getting in there? Isn't it kind of maybe not? I don't know it that well, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a good question. I believe that it would be. I think that Aramark and this union, because who else would do it? I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even have that answer. I mean, I know that you as a vendor have to go through them. If you want to, work, you have to work with them and go through them. But apparently they're just, Aramark listed, they put out a statement. They said they've bargained in good faith for over the past 6 months, and the union continues to reject their offers. And so they said, we value you. We've enhanced all the benefits. We've made offer after offer. So hopefully this strike, they'll come to a deal and come to a conclusion. But Aramark did release a statement that you'll still have the same high-quality food and high-quality service and pay a lot of money for that beer. But the union is saying tailgate in advance and bring your own stuff.
Yeah, it's something's going to have to happen here, because I just want to play back because we're talking stadiums here. The Savannah Bananas visited over the weekend, and a huge reunion, Dawn, and the moment that an all-time great, I just love the sound of the crowd when this guy is introduced, returning to Citizens Bank Park. Take a listen.
National League Rookie of the Year, a National League MVP, a World Series champion for the Philadelphia Phillies. Please welcome Ryan Howard!
Electric time, it seems, over at the ballpark over the weekend.
Exciting, all in yellow. Larry got last-minute tickets to ELO at the Wells Fargo Center.
That.
So
how was it?
Jeff Lynne's, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize how many hits they had.
Oh, really?
But it's Jeff Lynne's, probably because he's going to sell. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
He's going to sell his book like Springsteen did and cash in and become a billionaire. I don't know.
There we go.
Here we go.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to have
Mr. Blue Sky himself.
This was the encore at the very end.
Oh, really?
Here's what I liked about him, that he gets right. It's not like a Springsteen concert where there are all those stories, He just gets right to it. Boom.
Play the damn song.
It's every song was amazing. It was just boom, 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 nonstop, all business.
Mr. Blue Sky himself, Dom Giordano. Next.
Well, thanks, Dawn. And it's Springsteen's birthday. That has the side question today. We waited until Dan was back to make sure we rev that up. Kelsey Grammer did an interview with me over the weekend. We're going to play, talking about Hollywood and people telling him, they wish that Trump had been shot by one of the two assassins.
Oh, my gosh.
Why he's a Trump supporter boldly.
Good for him. Dom's show is right now.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments,